any kind of addition, interpretation? Yes.
I had another thought. I know like ascetics or like monks, like that's like asceticism isn't like encouraged in Islam. Like people who are like completely cut off all their desires, what's the word for like you don't have sex at all? Celibacy, like something like that. Like, cause like that's like forbidden, I guess, in Islam, you know. So like I was wondering, I don't know much about like Sufis, but is that like considered like beyond the moderation? Like, 'cause I don't know much about it, but like isn't that like almost asceticism or like really like intense like spirituality? Is that like considered extreme?
The prophet, as I mentioned, in his time, some people say we are going to go to mountains and graves, and we will have no relation with our wives and something like that. And whenever they mentioned that, the prophet was upset and he was saying, "Aren't I a good example for you? Did you find another prophet for yourself? I am an example for you, and you cannot do that. You cannot, because Islam is a reasonable life. Islam is a part of life. Islam is a kind of life philosophy, so it shouldn't be against it. So as you mentioned, if some Sufis are doing like that, it's a kind of extremism. Extremism is not always something political, but if you go to graves and if you cut off your relations, if you don't have social relations with the people, it's a kind of extremism. That is, of course, it is against the nature of Islam, and it is not like Islam. But of course, there may be some tendencies like that, but this doesn't mean that this is Islamic. And for example, if a person is a religious person, if a person is an imam, leader, he doesn't have to be just, because he has to show that he is an example for the community. So that's why he cannot cut off his relations with the families and these kind of things, and just he will concentrate his Lord. But also, if he is taking care of his family, this is also a part of worship. This is also a part of ibadah. So that's why Islam is not secular religion. It covers all life, all part of life. So if you are giving, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he says, if you are giving gift to your son or to your daughter, to your kids, it is a kind of sadaqah. It is a kind of charity. Allah is going to reward you for that. So this is a kind of understanding, perception. So that's why Islam is the way of balance.
One more thing I'd like to add, President can correct me if I'm wrong. I've heard that Uthman radiallahu anhu once suggested, he was not a very social person, and he once told the Prophet that he preferred to go out of the city and live all by himself as a hermit, and just do the dhikr and pray. And the Prophet ﷺ at that time said, it's better that you stay in a community and be part of a community instead of living alone by yourself.
That's the kind of thing I was wondering about. Yeah.
Right. This is a part of course, life. So even if your personality can be, if some people are not social people, they can be little bit personal, individual. Of course, they don't have to be social every time. Other people are not like social. Some people can be personal, but there will be no permission for them to cut off their relations with the society and go to mountains and graves and just worship and cut off relations, because the Islamic mannerism is not vertical improvement. We are not improving ourselves like that. We are improving ourselves like that. It is a horizontal improvement. If a person is a good Muslim, he is going to be helpful for his society. Because the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, says, the best among you are the people who are fruitful, benefitable for the mankind. So if you want to be really spiritually okay, we should embrace all the people. We should think of that.
Well, obviously, as human beings, our brain doesn't have the capacity to know everything. But is there any boundaries to gaining too much ilm or knowledge, to gain too much knowledge? Is that being extreme if you gain too much or you gain too little? What about ilm?
Of course, you are going to learn everything. You are going to improve your knowledge, because knowledge is the first thing that we are supposed to do. Because Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. What is the first command of Islam according to Quran? Read in the name of Allah. So we will increase our knowledge. But of course, also there is a balance between the knowledge and the action. If you just be like a philosopher, some people says it is our duty to think. Action is for our laborers, employees. This is, I think, French expression, something like that. So we have to balance our knowledge and action. So we are going to, whenever you have some knowledge, you are going to, because whenever Quran says, إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, whenever the iman, the faith, which the knowledge and the good deed is coming together. So some people, there are one of the scholars in Turkey, he says there are 3 victims among the Muslim Ummah. 3 victims. One is the victim of the books. They are the people, they read much. They are intellectual. They are reading the pre-Socratic philosophers, the Thales, Anaximandros, Anaximenes, and they read also Ali Izzet Begovic, they read Farabi, Ibn Sina, Ibn Rushd. They are like philosophers. But when you invite them to do something, they don't. They are just people of speech. So this is a kind of extremism. It should not be like that. Then the second victim is the victim of the politics. There are some people. These people are very emotional in the politics. What is going on in Palestine? What's going on there? But Bosnia or Chechenistan and something like that. But when you come, invite them to pray, they are not very as active as when they are. If there is a boycott, protesting, they are in front of them. If there is a hijab, and you cannot enter the university with hijab, they are protesting. They are very active in front of. But on the other hand, they are not very active in their ibadah. When you pray, you see that they are skipping their prayers. They are not very good people of ibadah. So this is a kind of another extremism. The other extremism are